What's up guys, it's the Cheapster here back with another video, and today with the start of the new year in January, I thought I would talk a little bit about what my investment strategy is going to be into 2022. And honestly, I've seen a lot of YouTubers do this kind of thing on YouTube lately, but I think it's a good thing to go through and something you guys should do for yourself too, because it helps you kind of think through what you're actually going to do with your money this year and try to keep yourself on track. But of course, for me this year, what I'm going to be doing is dumping most of my money into my savings account that gets 0.01% interest, and then I'll put the rest of my money probably in like federal bonds or something like that. No, I'm totally kidding. I will be staying away from both of those things this year. With inflation up the way it is so bad this year, more than ever, it is so important to make sure that you're getting your money invested into something that's going to keep growing over time. So that's why this year more than ever, I'm really going to be focused on investing and trying to make sure I keep my money into an investment vehicle that's going to make the best return and try to avoid getting eaten away by some of that inflation. But also this year's a pretty big year for me and my wife for investing, and that's mostly because 2020 was kind of the year for us as the year for paying off our debt. Well, more like 2011 to 2020. Yeah, we had a lot of debt. You can check out the video we made talking about how we got that all paid off. That was a long process. And then 2021 was kind of the year for us to save and buy a house, which we did last year. So I really see 2022 for me as the year that I want to really get invested and make sure that I'm, saving still the same amount that I was before, or at least close. I've kind of eased up a little bit, but then trying to make sure that we use that money and invest it wisely so that will grow for the future. And that's a big part of what this channel is kind of moving to, not just talking about earning and saving your money, but actually learning to earn, save, and then invest your money so that you can build wealth for the future. So in this video, I'm going to go over my investment strategy for 2022, and I'm going to talk about why I am so excited for this year and why I think this year should be such a big year for me to be able to grow my personal wealth, and why I think you guys should be able to too. And obviously I do want to say that this is not investment advice, so everyone should do your own research. You should always make sure that you make up your own financial plans. Don't just go off some guy on YouTube and say you're just going to follow whatever they're doing. And also a side note on my investing plan, I first off want to say that I really like investments that stay pretty flexible. I really like things that don't tie you down for the long term, that you feel like you could get out of if there's a better opportunity somewhere else, or if that investment is not performing well. Because I think markets move very quickly, and I want to be able to invest my money in the place that's going to have the best return. So my strategy might be a little bit different than some other people, because I really like to focus on my investments. I really keep a good eye on my money. And I think with that makes me really focused on trying to make sure I can get the best return and really focusing on what to do with that money. And I do also try to diversify my money, but of course at a younger age with less money, I'm more willing to take on more risk for higher reward if there's a chance for that. And again, that might not be the kind of thing that you're looking for, because you might be older, you might not want to take on that much risk, or maybe your risk tolerance is just less and you might not want to take that on. So again, like I said here, this is not investment advice. This is just kind of what I'm doing, and maybe you can draw some inspiration from it to decide some of the things you want to do. All right, so now that that's out of the way, let's talk about my investment strategy for this year. And the number one thing I want to start off with is real estate. So obviously right now, with housing prices really just booming and with inflation just really taking over things, owning a house has become more important than ever. So I'm really focused on, first of all, just sitting on the house that we bought, making sure that we can catch all the appreciation that this house will have with inflation and with the markets being the way that they are. Now, of course, I know that the markets are going to fluctuate, and eventually the housing market will start to come down, but then of course it goes back up. So I mean, that's just kind of the nature of this. But that's also why my wife and I have bought a fixer-upper house, because that kind of helps protect us from some fluctuations with the market. Because even if the market drops and we do enough work to this house, we might even out at the worst. I mean, sure, there's still potential there to lose money, but chances are with fixing up this house, we're probably going to gain value on that, and then the house will probably appreciate too on top of that. So this house itself is what I would say is our biggest investment. It's something that we're really focused on trying to make this really move us forward for the future. So I'm really excited for this year to see how things can go with this house. And also with that, I do want to say we are just sitting on a 30-year mortgage paying minimum payments because our rates are so low, and the rates are so low right now. I think that's what most people should do, because then you can take the rest of that money, don't live off it and spend it, but you can take the rest of that money and invest it. Now, of course, that does go against what people would say like Dave Ramsey, but that's what I think is the best way to use your money, to be able to leverage it in a safe way that you can still build investments. And another little side note on real estate is something that probably won't happen in 2022, but it's something I've been thinking about more, and that is buying a vacation rental. I honestly have no idea where we'd even want to buy one right now, but that's something I've thought about that could be really good to have down the road. All right, so that's pretty much it for what we're trying to do with real estate for this year. That's a very big one, and there's a lot of stuff to do with fixing up this house. But moving on to the next investment would be crypto and stablecoin. So crypto is something I really got more into at the end of this last year, because I really didn't look much into it, and once I did, I realized just so much of the potential that could be there with the crypto market. So that has all really changed a lot of my investment strategy. Now I've really kind of focused a lot more on crypto while still maintaining a lot of my investment in things like our house and the traditional stock market. But I do really think that the more I look into crypto, the more I am just really blown away by what this could be down the road and some of the stuff that this actually solves in our real world. So this next year, I will definitely be trying to buy more heavily into crypto. That's going to be really important. So obviously things like Ethereum, I think it's something that I'm really going to probably have the most heavy investment into. But I also do think that 2022 will kind of be the year of the altcoin, because there's a lot of utility coins and tokens that actually might really show up in this next year. And another thing, like I said, is stablecoin. Now that's not something I'm investing into because stablecoin doesn't really change, but I'm buying it so that I can hold it in interest-bearing saving accounts. I don't know if they're technically savings accounts, but things like Celsius, BlockFi, Nexo, I have referral links for all those down below in the description. Definitely check those out because those are so beneficial to have you be able to gain stuff like 8 to 10% interest on your stablecoin. So obviously when you've got bank accounts that are paying you 0.01% interest and you could buy stablecoin and hold it for like 10% interest, I think I'll take that. Honestly, being able to earn interest on your stablecoin has really just blown me away, and I cannot believe I didn't know about this stuff sooner, because it has just been amazing to be able to invest spare money that I want to hold on the sidelines to be able to make interest off it, and pretty good interest. I mean, being able to make like 10% interest on your stablecoin is like sometimes what the S&P 500 returns. So it's like to just be able to put that in there and pretty much know that's what you're going to get. That's amazing. So I am putting a portion of my money aside into stablecoin to be able to earn interest, because that's definitely one of my lower risk investments then. And I say lower risk because there's still issues with stablecoin, and stablecoins could have a problem down the road, but for right now I think they're fairly safe. And that's really pretty much it for the crypto world. There is some stuff I might look into with like NFTs, but again, I'm just very hesitant on the NFT world. But there is some stuff I'm interested in, like, you know, maybe buying land in Sandbox and stuff like that, but you know, all that stuff is still so expensive. I don't know if I will get into that in 2022 or not. All right, so the next thing I'll be investing money into this year is obviously the traditional stock market, which is going to be like our Roth and our 401k. Now I'm lucky being self-employed to be married to somebody who actually has a 401k, and there are certain things like 401ks that you can open when you're self-employed, but the good thing for me being married to somebody who works for a business that has a 401k is obviously getting that 401k match. That's definitely something you want to make sure you always invest in, because that's basically like a 100% return on your money if the company is going to give you a match. And luckily for us, my wife's company has a different setup to the 401k where they actually don't even require a match. They just put in a certain amount, which means we automatically invest into the 401k. And I really like that, because the 401k is something that's one of those things that ties you down, that you can't really take that money until you're older. So it's normally something I do try to stay more away from. So being able to have that automatic investment into the 401k without having to actually put money in ourselves is amazing, because then we can put money into other things like our Roth. So the Roth is the other thing that we're really focused on this year, and that's very important when you're younger, because that money that you put in today is going to be tax free down the road when you take it out, and even all the gains will be tax free. And I think that's super important as your tax rate rises, and as taxes just rise in general, because that's kind of what usually happens over time. And because I think the Roth might not be around forever. It might be something that eventually the government phases out and says that they're not going to allow that anymore. Not to mention also that you could phase it out yourself by making too much income, and then you're not allowed to invest in the Roth. So doing it earlier so that you can get money into it is really important. So that's what I'm really going to be trying to focus on, is maxing out my Roth and my wife's Roth this year. But all right, so we got real estate, we have crypto, we have the traditional stock market, and the last thing I want to talk about is just being able to have investments in pretty much anything I see along the way. Now, this is something that might just be a little more specific to me, but I really like to keep some money in a at least somewhat liquid state so that we can catch investments that come up every now and then. And I have no idea what this could be, but I mean, there's always stuff I see where I'm like, you know, I could buy that, and that would be worth a lot down the road if I have the money to buy it. That could be anything from NFTs, like I said, which I'm still not for sure on yet right now, or Pokemon cards. There's just lots of things around us that could have potential if you know what you're looking for. And because I've had so much experience in my life on eBay, there's a lot of stuff that I see that I know I can buy and sell on my eBay. There was one time I saw somebody selling a set of football cards in a massive lot on eBay, and it was a pretty expensive buy to buy it, but I knew that I could sell that back for a really good price if I had the money to do it. And I did, because I had a little bit of money on the sides, and I bought that and was able to sell it back for something like 5 to 6 times the amount that I paid for it. And if you're actually paying attention to that kind of stuff, that stuff can come up a lot more than you think. And that's one of the reasons I really do try to stay flexible with my money, because I don't want to miss out on those opportunities that come up to really make a lot with your money. And again, that could be something a little more specific to me because I run an eBay store. I have a business where I actually sell things on eBay. So paying attention to that stuff and being able to have money for that is not as much of an investment as it is just kind of the business I run there, but that is something I do kind of look at as more of an investment. And there are some things I like to buy and sit on them because they'll sell for more down the road. But anyway, guys, that's my investment plan. I think for the most part, when it comes to investing, it's really just about creating a well-rounded plan and then making sure that you stick to it. I think many different investment plans can get you to where you want to go, but of course the journey along the way can be as bumpy or as smooth as what you choose to take along that route. But the main thing to remember is to make sure that you are always trying to save so that you can invest your money. And every year that goes by, try to save more the next year so that you can invest more the next year. And make sure to have an investment plan that is well thought out, somewhat diversified, and obviously grounded with reality. Don't just YOLO all your money into GameStop or something and say that's your investment plan. But yeah, guys, that is my plan to build wealth and invest in 2022. And I'm so excited for this year because I think a lot of things are going to take off for me and my wife in the investment world. And I'm really excited to bring you guys along with me to show you how I do it and to show you how I try to make investing fun. I try to make everything fun, from working to saving to investing. I think that's the best way you can do it, because the more fun you make that stuff, the more motivated you are to earn money, save money, and invest it. But thank you guys so much for watching my plan for 2022. If you guys liked the video, remember to do the cheapest thing you can today. Tap that like button. Also subscribe to the channel for more stuff like this and with keeping up with some of the investments that I have going on. And guys, let me know in the comments what's going on with you guys for 2022, some of the plans you have. I would love to hear what's going on with everyone else. But thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. And remember, stay cheap.
Hey, you better be saving that money. Don't you be spending it now. You're still here watching this? You might as well just subscribe. Why would you not at this point?